All right, sorry I'm not here today. I had to go to a math training that I had scheduled for a couple months, but I wanted to go over these deductive reasoning notes with you really quick. On the top of the notes, you can see a little story about Alice in Wonderland, and you could read through that, and it just pretty much is showing you deductive reasoning being used in a real-world situation. Obviously, pigeons don't really talk in the real world, but it's a situation where someone is creating a conclusion based on certain evidence, and that evidence is using deductive reasoning. So the pigeon in this case is deciding that Alice is a serpent because the pigeon knows that serpents eat eggs. Alice has admitted that she eats eggs, so that must mean that Alice is a serpent. And that is using deductive reasoning to come up with a conclusion. There's two different types of deductive reasoning. There's the law of detachment and the law of syllogism. Both of those are illustrated in this image on your notes. The law of detachment, an example of the law of detachment is here in this little cloud. And a law of detachment says if I get over 90%, then I will receive an A. I got a 96%. I have an A. So what that uses is one if-then conditional statement, a piece of data, and then it draws a conclusion, or what we call a conjecture. So we could say that if you get over an 80%, then you at least get a B. Well, Jimmy got an 85. That means that Jimmy got a B. So that was the conjecture you draw based on one conditional statement and a piece of data. On the other side, you have the law of syllogism. The law of syllogism actually uses two conditional statements and then connects the beginning of the first conditional statement, the hypothesis of the first one, to the conclusion of the second one. So in this example, it says, if I oversleep, I will miss the bus. If I miss the bus, I will have to walk to school. The conjecture is a combination of the first hypothesis with the last conclusion. If I oversleep, I will have to walk to school. So the law of syllogism uses two conditional statements and then comes up with a final conjecture. On the bottom of the notes down here, you have different examples. Here we have an example of the law of syllogism showing that we have two statements given, two if-then statements, and then a conjecture drawn that combines the hypothesis of statement 1 with the conclusion of statement 2. So if a polygon is a triangle, then it is not a quadrilateral, is my final conjecture based on these two statements. Then my law of detachment is using a statement, if you are 18, then you can vote in government elections. Rachel is 18. That means Rachel can vote in government elections. So that is law of detachment being used. So I broke it down this way so when it asks you to draw a conclusion and then tell whether you use detachment or syllogism, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for two conditional statements and a conjecture when it comes to syllogism, one conditional statement, a piece of data, and then your conjecture when it comes to a law of detachment. So on the back of the sheet that you guys had got yesterday is the deductive reasoning part. And on this sheet, you're actually going to go through, and the first one says, draw a conclusion from the following statements. Tell whether you use the law of detachment or the law of syllogism to find the conclusion. So you're just going to go through and draw a conclusion based on these 5 different statements, and then write down your conclusion on your own paper, and then you can write down LOD for law of detachment or LOS for law of syllogism based on whichever one you used. Okay? On 6 and 7, you're just drawing conclusions of these following statements. So read the statements and then draw your final conclusion or what conclusion you can find out based on an information. On 8 and 9, it says two statements are given below. Write the first statement as a conditional. Then, if possible, use the law of detachment to make a conclusion. So what they want you to do is go through and take the first statement and turn it into a conditional statement like we did yesterday. So this would be, if the temperature is always above 32, then we are in Key West, Florida. If the figure is a square, then it is a rectangle. So you can go through and create the conditional and then use the data below it to come up with a piece of information if it's possible. If not, write not possible. And then the very bottom is just a cartoon, and it wants you to draw conclusions based on the cartoon you see here. The quiz that we will have over this will be next Monday. Again, we are meeting in the library computer lab tomorrow. So don't come up to the classroom. Go straight to the library computer lab tomorrow. and we're going to be doing our universal screening. But we will have a quiz over this on Monday, and then a quiz over the other stuff, the conditional statement sheet, on Friday. All right, have a great day. Work hard. Please be good for your substitute, whoever they may be, and Godspeed.